Many Nigerians are yet to come to terms with Tuesday's daring attack on the Nigerian Defense Academy in Kaduna. For them, if a military institution with 4 cadet battalions and an equipped training armoury could be compromised, then the military will have to do some soul-searching over its ability to secure the country. But if we must be honest, the attack on the NDA was not the first on a military or paramilitary formation in the last 12 years. Since Boko Haram insurgents and other copycat groups commenced their attacks on institutions of the Nigerian state, several military bases, police stations, and command posts have come under attack nationwide, with many fatalities recorded. The numerous breaches are indicative of the poor security and intelligence infrastructure at the country's military and paramilitary bases. It also raises the question of accountability and why the billions of dollars expended on the defense sector over the years has failed to make a difference. Well, joining us now to discuss the attack on the NDA and why Nigeria's defense infrastructure remains susceptible to security breaches is Dr. Davidson Isibor Akhimien, ex-military intelligence officer of the Nigerian Army and Director of Security Services at the Babcock University in Ilishan-Remo, Ogun State. Welcome to the show, Dr. Akhimien. Thank you for joining us.
Yeah, thank you very much, Dr. Abati. Sorry, I'd like to make a correction here. I am the former director of Security Services, Babcock University, not the current one.
Oh, okay. Correction taken. Thank you for that. But very quickly, I mean, as someone who had been in the intelligence community as a career officer, would like to have your take on the attack on the Nigerian Defense Academy. Because ordinary Nigerians will assume that the NDA should be, as an elite military institution, should be a well-protected space, unlike schools, primary schools, secondary schools that don't have enough protection. But in this particular case, we understand that even the NDA has issues with its perimeter fencing, and that, there were issues with duty officers and all of that. What do you make of this? Because some people have been saying that this could not have happened if, there wasn't a case of either collusion or negligence.
Yes, thank you, Dr. Reuben. I would like to say here that it's rather unfortunate that this kind of incident happened, especially at this time. And at the Nigerian Defense Academy, that happens to be one of the premium defense institutions of this great country, Nigeria. Now, for it to have happened at the NDA, for me, it's really an indictment on the leadership of the academy. And why do I say that? Given the fact that Kaduna State itself is the quasi-epicenter of banditry and kidnappings in Nigeria that we've been experiencing in recent past, I would have expected that an institution like the NDA would have taken its internal security very, very seriously, in these times especially, and given the location where it is. It is far-flung out there after the airport area, and is co-located with some of these communities where all of these kidnappings and banditry have been taking place in Kaduna. So I think they were caught off guard. However, having said that, the Nigerian Defense Academy attack, for me, is symbolic. It's symbolic in the sense that it goes to show that there is no defense or security infrastructure that is impregnable. It also goes to show that the Defense Academy and indeed many of our military formations can be vulnerable. So this kind of exposes the vulnerability of our military institutions and what the terrorists or the bandits or the so-called unknown gunmen were trying to achieve, they have achieved. Just to prove a point that the armed forces, they are not invincible, and that they could be attacked, they could be faced head-on by the bandits, and it sends a very, very, very bad signal to the security of our nation. Now, if that happens to the military establishment as elite as the Nigerian Defense Academy, so what's the hope of the common man? That's where the cry is now. So it's rather unfortunate. It's unfortunate.
Well, do you agree with the position of the presidency that this attack will only serve to bolster the resolve of the military to really end what we're dealing with what they describe as vermin, which I quite agree with? Do you agree with that, or do you feel that morale will be low as a result of this attack?
Now, honestly speaking, from an ordinary man's perspective, I think it is very wrong for the presidency to come out with that kind of statement. Do we need an attack on our military formations for us to be able to respond to the national security threats that have been pervading the land in the last few years? No, I think that's a very wrong statement to make, even though that may be, but it is not for an office as exalted as that of the presidency to say that such an attack will now bolster the will of the men to fight. What are you talking about? I mean, that is very wrong. It should not be heard. It will definitely, when our colleagues are lost, for example, in battle or in insurgent attacks like this, definitely it fires up and gingers up the men. But that is not for the presidency to be saying. It's like saying that now that we've been hit, and now we'll go for them. So what happened with the other hits on civilians? What happened with the other hits on ordinary members of the public? So please, I think that's a very wrong statement to make. It will definitely bolster the fire of the men, to go after these same bandits, and to a very large extent, I think morale too will be lost. Morale will be lost on the parts of the soldiers who are especially in the battlefield, because you see, the barracks is supposed to be a defended locality, and in these times, we should look at ourselves as fighting a war. And so definitely one would have expected that more protective measures would have been given to the barracks. Now the barracks are where the soldiers who are fighting in the field, the barracks are where the families reside. If they are not safe out there in the battlefront, and their families are not safe in the barracks where they reside, their morale will be lost. The will to fight will be lost. So it behoves leadership at the level of the armed forces to begin to do a re-evaluation of barrack security. Let's look at our barracks from today as defended localities and begin to work with the principle of defense in depth, working outwards from the nucleus. Let's create several layers, begin to create several layers of security, perimeter security, around our military formations. Because, I mean, this is an example now. It can happen any day. And we should not be taken by surprise again. This should not happen again. It's a slap on the integrity and the fighting force, power of our armed forces. It's a slap.
But, Dr. Akhimien, it's obvious that we never learn from anything in this country. We don't learn, and that's the problem. This same thing happened at the Command and Staff College, Jaji, 9 years ago. We didn't learn from that. So what are the new things to learn in all of this if we don't even learn from the things that happened in the past? This is not the first time a military installation will be attacked. Command and Staff College, Jaji, was attacked 9 years ago by Boko Haram. 2 suicide bombers, they killed 11 people. So what are we going to learn this new time, or this time around?
Yes, there's a lot to learn, like I said. Now, if you look at the armed forces, the security itself is just a component part of the function of the armed forces. So it is possible to even have a brigade commander, a battalion commander in charge of a battalion formation or a brigade formation that is not vast in physical security measures as far as the security of the formation is concerned. So what I'm saying is there needs to be encouragement of the security arm of the armed forces, which is the military intelligence, the military police at the different levels, at the tri-service levels, air police, air intelligence, naval police, naval intelligence. They need to be encouraged to come up with proper recommendations. They need to be funded properly, and their recommendations need to be acted upon as far as providing security for barrack establishments are concerned. So what we should be doing at this stage is to do a re-evaluation. Let us call intelligence commanders at the different levels. Let us see where is the lacuna as far as barrack security is concerned, because we are a symbol of the state, and the terrorists and the insurgents and the bandits are targeting us primarily in order to undermine the integrity of the state. So let us first start at home. How do we secure ourselves at home so that our morale in the field of fighting out there in the battlefield, the morale of our men will be upped, will be heightened. Let us not allow, you understand? Yes. Let us not allow for our barracks to be pregnable.
Well, Dr. Akhimien, just before we move on, in less than 1 minute, we just need a clarification. Command Staff College, the Nigerian Defense Academy, because you were using the expression barracks. Would those military colleges be considered barracks? Because it looks like a school in this sense. It's just a school, even if no part of Nigeria should be attacked, whether it's a school or not. How is NDA different
What's
from
a barrack?
A school? Yeah.
Okay, I need to clarify that for your understanding. What's a barrack? A barrack is simply the locality where service personnel reside and work. Okay, so the Command and Staff College, Nigerian Defense Academy, these are military institutions, yes, but they house staff, they house students, and staff are there with their families. So it's a barrack. They house armories where the arms and ammunition are kept. So it's a barracks. They house administrative blocks and units where officers go to work and classrooms where students go to school. It's a barracks.
Well, thank you very much.
You have. Thank you.
Yeah. The clarification is very useful. And we'd like to thank you very much, Dr. Akhimien, for joining us on the morning show. Thank you very much indeed.